DT Neal again, talking about superheroes and storytelling and other genre niceties. You know, two of my favorites in terms of the graphic novels, well, really, technically three. Dark Knight Returns, that's required. Watchmen, again, required. And V for Vendetta, also required. You know, with Watchmen and V for Vendetta, of course, you've got the Alan Moore, the long shadow of Alan Moore in it. But Watchmen is a supreme graphic novel achievement. I don't even think that's a matter of debate. It's marvelously done. I think I first read that when I was in my early 20s. I still have my copy. It's very well worn. And, you know, people slammed, for a while, they slammed the Zack Snyder Watchmen. I think they were all wrong. And I think people are starting to realize now over time, maybe that really was a good effort. It's gained the benefit, I think, of time. And people have appreciated, I think, what he did. And it was, in many ways, within the challenges inherent in trying to do a screen adaptation of Moore's work, it was a good effort. And it was very true in many ways to the graphic novel. I love Watchmen, so there's that. So, although I haven't watched the Snyder version in a number of years, but every now and then I will, and I'm always roped in. V for Vendetta, in many ways, again, I really like the treatment that it received, which poses again the challenge, I think, for those adaptations. And I could pull many examples out. And it's funny to see, though, nowadays on the screen, we went from that period of time when they just couldn't kind of get the superhero movies right, and then they did for a while. Not everybody, though. Just ask DC. DC has had tremendous trouble with their adaptations. And I still think DC's missing the boat by not doing Lobo. They need to do Lobo. They need to do Lobo. They need to let down their hair a little bit and kind of go wild and do something groovy with Lobo. I don't know if they will, but they should. Anyway, I think the challenge that they always face with those adaptations is trying to placate the comic fans while at the same time making it accessible to the normies, the people who don't read comic books, who don't necessarily know anything about comic books and just want to see a big movie, a big spectacle. And that, I think, poses the challenge for those companies when they're trying to do cinematic adaptations of comic book material. Excuse me. And they got to find that safe space somewhere between the hardcore fans and the everyday people who just want to see a movie and enjoy it. The first Kick-Ass did that really well, I thought. Kick-Ass is a wonderful homage and satirical takedown of the superhero world, which I think, the first one, I think they hit the notes just right. And that poses, again, part of the challenge. And for a lot of people, it's easy to look at that stuff and be kind of just sick of it and be like, oh, it's over. I mean, why do we have to see anything else about superheroes? It's exhausting. And that's true. I get that. Although for me, I look at it and say, is the advent of superheroic entertainment, was that an omen of onrushing fascism? Because it's impossible to look at superhero stuff and not hear the clarion call of fascism. Super beings, right? Behaving lawlessly, vigilante action on a hapless and dependent public. One could deconstruct Batman pretty readily as a brutal boy billionaire who enacts his trauma on the criminal underclass time and again, instead of creating a bunch of foundations with his billions. Instead, he puts on a costume and cracks skulls. You know, there it is. So I weirdly think that there's a lot of relevance to the superhero genre in the way our overall society is behaving or misbehaving. And I think there's a lot that one could mine on those fronts.